The rain battered the windows of the old Victorian house, each drop a tiny hammer against the glass as Eleanor stood frozen in the hallway. Her hand clutched the phone, its screen glowing with a single text message that burned into her retina. "Meet me tonight." She'll never know. The sender's name, James, made her stomach lurch. Her James, her husband of 10 years. The man who kissed her forehead every morning before work, who laughed at her terrible puns, who promised forever. The message wasn't meant for her. It was a mistake, a slip of the finger, a crack in the facade she hadn't seen coming. Her breath hitched as she heard his footsteps descending the staircase, casual, unaware. She had seconds to decide, confront him now or play the part of the oblivious wife. The rain seemed to scream her indecision, and her heart pounded with a question. Who was she? Eleanor slipped the phone into her pocket just as James appeared, his tie loosened, his smile warm but distracted. "You okay, Elle?" "You look like you've seen a ghost," he said, brushing past her to grab his coat. She forced a smile, her voice steady despite the storm inside. "Just tired? You're heading out?" He nodded, mentioning a late meeting, his eyes avoiding hers. The lie was so smooth she might have believed it if not for the text. As the door clicked shut behind him, Eleanor's resolve hardened. She wasn't the type to sit and wait. She grabbed her keys, pulled on a raincoat, and followed him into the night. The city was a blur of neon and rain, headlights streaking like comets. James's car was easy to tail. His old green sedan stood out among the sleek taxis. Eleanor's hands gripped the wheel, her mind racing. She'd always trusted him, hadn't she? They'd built a life together, lazy Sundays, shared dreams, a mortgage they laughed about being chained to. But now, every memory felt like a question mark. He turned into a quiet street lined with brownstones, parking outside a dimly lit cafe. Eleanor pulled over, her car hidden in the shadows. Through the cafe's fogged-up window, she saw him sit across from a woman. She was younger, her hair a cascade of red curls, her laugh visible even from a distance. Eleanor's chest tightened. This was her. Minutes stretched into an eternity as Eleanor watched them. James leaned in, his hand brushing the woman's arm. The gesture was intimate, practiced. Eleanor's mind spiraled. How long had this been going on? Was she the fool all along? But then, something shifted. The woman's face hardened, her gestures sharp. James's shoulders slumped, and he shook his head as if pleading. Eleanor squinted through the rain, her curiosity now outweighing her pain. This wasn't a lover's rendezvous. It looked like an argument. She couldn't stay in the car any longer. The need for answers burned too fiercely. She stepped into the rain, her hood up, and slipped into the cafe. The bell above the door jingled, but James and the woman were too engrossed to notice. Eleanor took a seat at the counter, close enough to hear fragments of their conversation over the clink of coffee cups. "You promised you'd tell her," the woman hissed. "I can't keep doing this, James." His voice was low, strained. "It's not that simple, Claire. You know what's at stake." Eleanor's breath caught. Claire. The name meant nothing to her. No colleague, no friend, no neighbor. A stranger who held a piece of her husband's life she'd never touched. Eleanor's hands trembled as she sipped her coffee, the bitter taste mirroring her thoughts. She wanted to storm over, demand the truth, but something held her back. The way James's voice cracked, the way Claire's eyes glistened with unshed tears. It wasn't just betrayal. There was something deeper, something desperate. She waited, eavesdropping, piecing together fragments. Claire mentioned a deal, a debt, a secret James had kept for years. Eleanor's mind reeled. Was this about money? Blackmail? She needed more. The conversation ended abruptly. Claire stood, tossing a scarf around her neck, and left without looking back. James sat alone, staring into his empty cup. Eleanor saw her chance. She slid into the booth across from him, her hood still up, her voice low. "Who's Claire, James?" His head snapped up, his face draining of color. For a moment, he looked like a man staring at his own grave. "Elle, how..." She cut him off, her voice ice. "Your phone. The text. I followed you. Now talk." He didn't try to lie. Maybe he was too tired, or maybe he saw the steel in her eyes. The truth spilled out in halting, painful bursts. Claire was his sister, not a lover, not a mistress, but a sibling he'd never mentioned. Years ago, before he met Eleanor, James had been entangled in a shady business deal that went south. Claire took the fall, serving time to protect him. She'd reappeared months ago, demanding he come clean to Eleanor, or she'd expose everything. The secret had eaten at him, but he couldn't bear to lose Eleanor's trust. The text. Eleanor listened, her anger warring with relief, then pity. The man she loved wasn't a cheater, but he was a liar, carrying a burden she'd never been allowed to share. "Why didn't you tell me?" she whispered. James's eyes were wet. "I was ashamed. I thought I could fix it, keep you safe from my past." She wanted to scream, to forgive, to walk away, all at once. Instead, she stood, her voice steady. "You don't get to decide what I can handle. We're done hiding things, James. Come home. We'll figure this out." The rain had slowed to a drizzle as they drove back together, silent but side by side. Eleanor didn't know if they'd rebuild what was broken or if Claire's shadow would linger. But as the house came into view, its windows glowing like a beacon, she felt a spark of hope. The truth, painful as it was, had set them free to start again. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough.